Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. This is Chitra here, and today I'm going to show you how I get this everyday wearable pink look with bright lips. Let's get started. Before we get started, I'm just quickly sipping on some tea, and now I am going to go ahead and prep my face. And I'm using this Pond's Light Moisturizer. I really like this underneath my base, underneath my foundation. It is one of my favorite moisturizers. Sometimes I use it all year long. And once I'm done prepping my face, I'm moving on to the primer. I'm using the L'Oreal Revitalift Miracle Blur Primer, and then we are working on our brows now. As always, I'm using the Brow Artist Genius Kit, and I'm using a spoolie and a brow brush. As you all know, this comes with the wax and the powder, so I'm just prepping my brows with the wax first and now moving on to the powder, obviously. Just brushing it off with the spoolie and moving on to the other brow. Having some more tea because brows take time. And then I'm moving on to the foundation. My absolute favorite, the L'Oreal Paris True Match. I just love this foundation. And as always, I'm using my Real Techniques buffing brush to just spread it all over my face and just buff the product in. I just absolutely love this foundation. You guys can see I have so many breakouts right now, but it just gives me such a clean canvas to work with. Just applying it a little over my neck, and now moving on to the concealer. I am using the Makeup Revolution Conceal and Define Concealer in the shade C12, and I'm using the PAC concealer brush in the number 219, and I'm just going to spread the product around evenly, just buffing it into my into the under eye area. I'm yet to find another brush that I love using with concealer as much as I like this one. Whatever is left, I'm just going over my eyelids, obviously. And I'm just using the L'Oreal True Match pressed powder. I'm just, setting the under eye area, and I'm just lightly dusting it all over my face. And now we're moving on to the eyes. I'm using the Naked 3 palette, and I'm just going to use one or two shadows. I am showing Nooner here, but I decided not to use Nooner, so I'm going with the shade Limit. What I'm doing is I'm firstly just, dusting it all over my eyelid just to give it sort of a pink base. And once I'm done with that, I'm just taking the shade Limit again and just intensifying the color in my outer corners alone. Just in the outer corners and the crease area. To intensify the color, I'm just packing it on with my finger a little bit. And then I'm taking the shade Burnout and I'm just lightly going over my lid, like ever so lightly. That's it. And then I'm just bringing in the color Limit onto the lower lash line as well, just to make sure everything feels connected and uniform. I'm tightlining my upper lash line here, and I'm doing the same thing with the other eye, and I'm just slightly going to line my lids this time, like ever so slightly, a very thin line, and I'm just going to take a smudger brush and smudge it off just to give it like an ever so lightly smoky look. And I'm taking the Sonia Kashuk Neutrals palette. You can take any neutrals palette that you have at home, and I'm taking a combination of darker brown shades, and I'm just going to very lightly intensify the lower lash line a little bit more. And I'm curling my lashes, moving on to the mascara, curling my lashes, both lashes on both the eyes, and then I'm using the Colossal Kajal by Maybelline. Sorry, the Colossal Mascara by Maybelline. This is another everyday mascara that I really enjoy using on my lashes. I have non-existent lashes. Mascara just makes them pop. Mascara is, and I think has to be, one of my favorite makeup products. slowly working that, and I forgot to show the clip here, but I did add it to my lower lashes as well. And now moving on to the bronzer, I am just very quick, very gently, and with a very light hand using the bronzer. And I'm using the MAC Mineralize Skin Finish in the shade Dark Deep. I'm just going over the hollows of my cheek, my forehead, just the usual spots, lightly over my nose, and I'm just using a highlighter ever so gently, just to give my skin a little bit of glow. Cupid's bow, nose, and wherever the light touches my face. And I'm using the BH Cosmetics blush. You can use um, any any blush palette or any pink blush specifically that you have at home. I did go over a little bit, so I'm taking a stippling brush and just blending it all out so that the blush is not that intense. And now I'm moving on to the lipstick. I'm using the L'Oreal Paris lipstick in the shade Raspberry Syrup. This is from their matte collection. And that's it. That's the finished look. I'm just making sure that the blush is not intense over here, just making sure everything is even, and I'm also quickly highlighting the inner corners of my eye as well. And that's the finished look. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope you try recreating this at home. Do tag us and let us know if you do end up recreating this look. Thank you so much, and please subscribe.